Good morning. Today I'm going to talk about Mars. So, Mars is the fourth rocky planet in our solar system, and it has some features that are very similar to Earth. So let's go over some of the basics of Mars, the basic features. So we see this image here of Mars, and the first thing that you might notice is that it's very red or rust color. And Mars is known as the red planet. And this is due to the large amounts of iron in the crust. When iron is exposed to oxygen, it oxidizes and we get rust from it. So we see this when we look at iron deposits on our own planet. It has like a red rust color. And there's huge amounts of it here on Mars. So it has this reddish appearance to it when you look at it in the night sky. Like I said, there's a bunch of features that are similar to Earth. Mars has polar ice caps. Well, polar caps anyways. So there are polar caps like Earth, but they are primarily CO2, not ice, not frozen water. Mainly carbon dioxide, CO2. And polar caps is a better way to say it rather than polar ice caps, right? Because we don't want it to sound like we're talking about water. And you'll find those at both the North and South Pole. They're not huge, but they're significant enough that they're easily seen from space or even through good telescopes. You can see just the edges of them. So let's look at some more features. Mars can be very dramatic when we talk about geologic features. And what you see here is a big volcano. Now, when I say big, I mean this is about the size of Texas. This is huge compared to any volcano on Earth. So Mars has many volcanoes. The largest volcano in the solar system, Olympus Mons, is located on Mars. And this is Olympus Mons. This is the biggest volcano in the solar system. And it's hard to appreciate it because the only way to photograph it like this is from orbit. It's hard to appreciate how big we're actually talking about, where the volcano sticks pretty high up in the atmosphere. So some more features. In this image of Mars, we see this big gash running across the surface of the planet. This is a big canyon. So there's also a canyon on Mars that dwarfs the Grand Canyon on Earth. So Grand Canyon would be very small compared to this huge canyon on Mars. Valles Marineris is as long as the US and up to 4 miles deep. So the US from California to New York would be about the size of the whole canyon. And 4 miles deep would be its deepest point. Okay, remember, we're just scratching the surface here. There's so much information about Mars that we could talk about, but this is just the basics. This is just the intro concepts. Now, what you see here is one of the rovers that we have sent to Mars. We have several robotic rovers that have explored the surface. So the US has sent 5 robotic vehicles to study the Martian surface. And you see this one is actually taking a picture of itself. It has a long arm with a camera on it. One of the goals is to determine what Mars used to look like and see if life may have existed on the planet. So we're trying to find traces of water because we think where there was once water, there could be the possibility of life. It seems to be that life requires water. Seems to be. So far, at least as of the making of this video, we don't have the evidence for life yet, but we're still investigating. There's still a possibility. So we'll see. Now, going down a little bit further, these 5 robotic vehicles or rovers they have taken all kinds of pictures from the surface of Mars, and you can look those up. There's lots of high resolution images. One of them here is a big panorama. And if you look at that, this is an image of Victoria Crater on Mars. The rover Opportunity explored the rim and basin of the crater. So Opportunity is like one of these robots here, one of our current modern ones that's up there and still going through explorations and investigations. And at one point it went into this crater doing some studies there and then came back out of the crater. So this just gets us started. Let me know if you have any questions. I hope this helps.